Texas Governor Rick Perry plans to hold a briefing later on this afternoon to discuss the first case of Ebola diagnosed right here in the U.S.
Here's what we know about that patient. It is a man who recently traveled from Liberia to Dallas. As ABC's Carolyn Costello tells us, people who have been in close contact with this patient are being monitored just as a precaution.
It is the first case of Ebola ever diagnosed on U.S. soil. The infected patient in critical condition being treated in isolation at this Dallas hospital. Officials saying they are now evaluating 12 to 18 people he came in contact with. The CDC vowing to stop the spread of the deadly virus.
We will stop this in its tracks.
3 first responders who rushed the sick patient to the hospital were released from quarantine and sent home after testing negative for Ebola. They'll be watched closely for 3 weeks.
We have a 7-person team identifying everyone who might have come in contact with them and then monitoring them for 21 days.
The man left Liberia September 19th, apparently already infected with the disease, but not contagious.
That was 4 or 5 days before he had his first symptoms. And with Ebola, you're not infectious until you have symptoms.
The man landed in Texas September 20th and began showing symptoms on the 24th. On the 26th, he came on his own to Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital. However, doctors said his illness did not seem unusual and sent him home. But on the 28th, the man was rushed back to the hospital. 2 days later, on Tuesday, he tested positive for Ebola. ABC's chief health and medical editor, Dr. Richard Besser, reporting from the front lines in Liberia for the second time, says everyone who flies out of that country is thoroughly screened.
But the man in Texas shows us that even when you're doing the right things, infected people can slip through.
The CDC will not release the patient's flight itinerary because they say the patient was not sick while he was traveling and therefore posed no risk to people on his flights. Carolyn Costello, ABC News, New York.